Thank you for staying with us. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group, in association of organized private sector, has projected that Nigeria's unemployment rate will increase to 37%, while poverty headcount will amplify to 45% in 2023. The NESG said this due to weak performance in the job-elastic sectors, low labor absorptions of sectors that will drive growth and population growth estimated at 3.2%, which it said will lead to a decline in real per capita income. Recall that the World Bank said Nigeria and its peers in Sub-Saharan Africa would suffer increased poverty, more debt, food insecurity, low per capita income, among other challenges in 2023, as global crisis, rising rates and inflation stalls global economic growth. Well, let's dissect this further. I'm speaking to the director and co-founder of Budget, Mr. Oluseun Onigbinde. Compliments of the season, and it's really good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to hear from you, Tolu. It's a real big pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's start with the figures. Unemployment rate in Nigeria and the present situation. First, react to the figures that we have. Unemployment, underemployment, and all of this is becoming scary. How does it come to you?
Yeah, we have to just understand that Nigeria's socio-economic indicators are declining. Recently, there was a report around poverty that shows that we have 1.3 million people who are multidimensionally poor. 6 million out of that is in the north, 47 million out of that is in the south. So there is a challenge. And also, when people are poor, there's a huge tendency for unemployment and underemployment in such situations. And it just shows that whatever policy framework the current government has at the federal and state level is not working. The biggest way to really create jobs is to stimulate opportunities within the economy. And how do you stimulate opportunities in the economy? You allow the private sector to try. Because the government itself cannot create significant amounts of jobs to transform the environment. It has to be right heavily on the private sector to do some of these things. So unemployment will continue to be there. And so that we have not taken some hard decisions on how to stimulate growth in the critical sector of the economy. And so that's and poverty will also be in the mix. So that the quality of our healthcare, the out-of-school children numbers are high, and also people are extremely vulnerable to economic shock, as we've seen with the last pandemic for COVID-19.
But let's look at all of this initiatives by government, trying to help address all of this, a lot of social programs, intervention programs to address this. How well would you say this has impacted? Because government will tell you billions of naira has been spent on this.
If we dissect the number, the federal government has spent nothing less than 1 trillion naira on the social protection program in the last 7 years. So if you put 1 trillion naira into a kind of adventure, you have to ask yourself, what is the data? First thing is that we don't do enough work around monitoring and evaluation. So today, there is still no proper evidence-based analysis of the impact of most of these programs. Federal government itself has not seen any documentation. Maybe they are third-party reports by non-profit organizations, but the federal government has not commissioned an appraisal of this engagement. Because if you look at the numbers, they're not hard enough. Spending a whole lot of social protection, more than has ever been spent over the years, it has to transform into the unemployment numbers. It has to transform into how poverty is reducing. So if all of that is not happening, then something is wrong with the approach. And what's wrong with the approach is that there is no proper use of data to target people. That's what I feel. There are challenges around who is actually poor in Nigeria and who is most vulnerable. Now to ensure that there's a structured national database. Nigeria does not run a structured national database of people, and that does not even make it easy for you to target the most poor and the most vulnerable in society. The second thing is also to fix the macroeconomy. We cannot distribute money out of poverty. We out of poverty. There is no way out of that. Macroeconomy has to rise, which means what is inflation saying? If you give people 5,000, 20,000 naira, and inflation is 20%, and food inflation is far, far higher than that, then definitely you are wasting value, whatever opportunity or whatever resource that you are providing to these people. So you also, as you are trying to solve social protection, you also have to be doing rigorous work to fix issues of the macroeconomy, because things like this trickle down to how citizens are affected in some sort of way. So what are the questions that have to put? We need to have a proper social contract that is founded on the citizen benefits. And we also need to make sure that we pay attention to the macroeconomy. Then state governments need to be more effective. There's a tendency for the federal government to always crowd out these things. Federal government look at it. So federal, there has to be coordinated and integrated framework. The federal government and state government are on the same page on few issues. One, out of school children. How does the state government ensure that most children are meant to are in school? Nutrition. How do you ensure that quality, fortified food is accessible to most Nigerians? How do you ensure that happens? Social protection for those who are vulnerable to economic recession, pandemic shocks, and all of that. How do you create those scenarios? So the federal government, sitting in Abuja with LCs, cannot fix some of these problems alone. There has to be an integrated approach in transforming all of this.
Well, let's talk about this, the Jackpot Syndrome, as it's called here. Let me use that. Some are saying that's the reason why we see more Nigerians wanting to move out of the country. But it's really not very easy outside the country at the moment. We know what's happening with energy costs and all of that. People are telling us, we are hearing from many of them. But why do you think that Nigerians believe that, well, if I get over there, I could be able to make a headway?
I think there's a very unspoken factors in here when it comes to people talk about Jackpot Syndrome. We're looking at the quality of life generally. And they're not just thinking about themselves, they're thinking about their children, the quality of school system the children can have access to, the quality of healthcare that they and their children can have access to. Those are existential issues, but it seems from the public perspective, we've not paid enough attention to that. So when people think about Japan, they are hope. They are hopeful that opportunities will show up and they will be better off wherever the situation in Nigeria. Inflation has hit a lot of Nigerians hard. A lot of resources, a lot of payments people that they are getting 500,000 2 years ago. Look what 500,000 can do in the Nigeria of today. So you see a lot of people within the middle class would rather prefer to live $23,000 out of the country, where they might live paycheck to paycheck than live within 500,000, 700,000 for the same kind of job in Nigeria. And it's a dangerous challenge because Nigeria is significantly losing middle-level class. It's losing also its middle-level managers to Canada, to the UK, to the US, and other clients like that. And those are the backbone of the economy. That's where the management is drawn from. That's where the production personnel are drawn from. If all of that capacity is being lost out, then what is for common Nigeria? There's a recent story of a popular influencer who had great surgery, and because they were experienced neurosurgeon, he chose to stay in the country and give that kind of person opportunity to have a surgery in the country. If such people also choose to move their bags and pack out tomorrow, then there are no opportunities for everyday Nigerian to access it. So we have to ask ourselves our hard questions. How do we fix the macroeconomy? How do we fix the underlying quality of life for every Nigerian so that Nigeria is attractive system, so that the business people are trying to stay. When you look at all of that, you mix that even how private capital or public investment really Nigeria significant. You bring that all together. For example, we're going to that we did $8-9 billion in the early 2000s, up to 2010, 2012, on foreign direct investment. Yeah, we can't even get up to $1 billion in foreign direct investment. So these are the kind of challenges that we're facing, where externally, internally, people are technically losing hope, and a country must run out of hope. People must believe in the country, must believe there's an opportunity for it to try, and the government has to be the market of hope. When people say leaders are dealers in hope, this is the kind of situation that we have, especially in the next election, very quick on. Because Because a lot of macroeconomic shocks will come to the table. If something is removed, if exchange rate parity comes into full play, some of those things will reduce certain level of inflation. That's when trust and dealing with opens to come to the table. We need guys that can inspire and then build trust with people in the next election. Thank you.
Wow. Interesting conversation about the audio. Well, we are trying to make the best out of it. I guess we are getting better as we move on, I guess, because of the environment. But let's wrap up on this note. Human and capital skills gap is what some people have talked about that really needs to be worked on in this part of the world. And that's also leading to brain drain. But what do you think can be done to bridge that gap? Talking about human and skills gap, human capital and skills gap that exists in Nigeria.
So for human capital, especially the issue of brain drain, there has to be government, has to be a policy to rework our education system. If you look at 1999, the focus has heavily been on infrastructure, focus has heavily been on fixing the macroeconomy. A lot of leaders in Nigeria, when you want to judge their successes, you are literally counting how many number of roads they have built, how many number of bridges that they have built. You're not looking at the fundamental about the quality of life, about the human capital. Is there investment in health? Is there investment in education? Is there investment in social protection? So human capital has come to play. A country will not grow beyond the quality of its human capital. So we care about progress. We need to fix the human side of things. And that comes about education. We've been on strike for 8 months. I mean, the last 3 years, she has been out for over a year now. Things have changed. A primary school system. We got the follow budget on social media. You see children, in dilapidated classrooms. You see that teacher training is not in the front burner. We have to put those things in for education. We read the multidimensional poverty index, MDPI. Health, access to health. Time to health is the highest contribution factor to poverty in Nigeria. So we have to put human capital at the forefront if we are going to tackle poverty, we are going to end unemployment, or if we are going to change the paradigm of this country in any way. So these are the things we have to bring to the table. But all of that means that we get quality leadership that prioritize and really invest in this. I hope my audio is better.
Yes, it is. It is better. I think you're projecting more now. Well, so let's wrap up on this note. Are you concerned or you think it's normal for the likes of the IMF, World Bank and all to say, considering Nigeria's economic health, many might still drift into poverty? Do you think they are correct by saying that, considering all of this that we've highlighted before now?
It's about the trajectory. It's about how we look at things. Let's be honest. Governance should take the backseat significantly this year. So across the states, at the federal level, you see that we're in a transition here. So there might not be enough public spending. It might not be put in the right places, which means they could come with heavy political undertones. So there is clear understanding that if an IMF of the World Bank is saying that things can get really, really bad, it's possible. Because we're not coordinated as we should be from the position of policy. Policy has to attract changing the paradigm when we talk about access to health care. Policy has to attract when it comes to quality of education. Policy has to attract when it comes to social protection. Policy has to change when it comes to the macroeconomy and ensuring that the private sector has the quality of environment to produce. We also have to beat our export engines and make sure that we are able to drive our non-oil export growth. Those are the things we have to bring to the table. So if we are not taking integrated policies and policy strategy on these things, there is no chance for us as a country to change our paradigm significantly. So for me, I feel the IMF saying that things might get worse, they are not out of touch, or the World Bank. We have to be the ones to sit back. And I think this current government is at sunset. So there is no policy prescription that we can make at this point that could make significant impact Nigerians are going to hold the game to choose a leader in the next less than 40 days. There's a question as to which kind of leader can engineer hope, which kind of Nigerians, which kind of leader can deliver productivity, which kind of leader can bring growth, inclusive growth to the country, which kind of leader can instill trust within the politics. And those are the questions that have to be on the table, because with our population growth that is not that is racing across ahead of our economic growth, our GDP per capita is constantly falling. So quality of life is not improving. So if we were able to have some of this question and we're able to face hard to change the paradigm, that's when we are able to know that we can say our quality of life can improve. But this has come to the table. Yeah.
Mr. Olusegun Onigbide, thank you so much, Director, Co-founder, Budget. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We appreciate it, despite all of your tight schedules. Enjoy yourself, and of course, do enjoy your weekend.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
All right, then. Well.